Colorado authorities are now confirming that they have performed 2 drug busts in a span of a single week. Why experts believe Colorado is such a hotspot for this type of activity. And if you're planning on taking out the trash anytime soon, you're going to want to know about some changes here in Denver so your trash doesn't sit out for a full week. And it is finally the weekend. That's right. So if you live in the southern mountains, get ready for that snow to come at full force. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lauren Scafidi. Let's send things on over to Weather Impact Team meteorologist Jaden Knowles. Jaden, you are on the nice list for me today because you are bringing that sunshine today.
Well, I'm glad. I'm not really surprised or anything like that, though, Lauren. I'm on a nice list the entire year, just always being nice to people. So I knew Santa Claus was coming. Only a month away, so.
Checking it twice.
And he's going to find out who's naughty or nice, So let's take a look about weather. Let's talk about weather, not Santa Claus. Overall, though, current visibility. We've been dealing with this dense fog really all morning, especially up towards parts of Greeley, down towards Pueblo, Lamar, as well as Alamosa. Luckily, that's expected to lift around 9 a.m. Here's what we can expect each and every day throughout this weekend, as well as we head into next week. Talking about warm temperatures today, the upper 50s as well as the low 60s. Warm today, tomorrow, as well as Monday, but then noticing that big cool down as we head into Tuesday. We're going to be talking about that much more in detail, but our next big weather thing and the thing that we're tracking, our weather impact, we're really talking about our next storm system as we head into tomorrow, mainly for our San Juans. Our northern pass is really not that much snow accumulation. I don't have a lot of precipitation for us, unfortunately, in the metro area. Of course, we'll break that down in detail later in the show. But overall, heading out the door this morning, temperatures still holding steady in the cooler temperatures. Talking about 35, 37 in Central Park, and also 41 currently at the airport. We're really cool across the entire state, but luckily we will warm up nicely once we head into this afternoon. Noticing nice and dry conditions. I don't have a lot of rain in my forecast, but the next 3 days, very interesting, especially once we head into next week. We'll talk all about that and much more in detail later in the show, Lauren.
All right, Jaden, thank you so much. New this morning, we have some new details on a situation in Littleton from overnight. At a neighborhood near Broadway and Bellevue around midnight, a person in a mental health crisis lit a small fire in their apartment. Then they barricaded themselves inside. Littleton PD said they spent about an hour negotiating and they were able to take the person into custody without any problems. That person has not been publicly identified. Everything is back to normal in that area now. 2 record drug busts in Colorado, 1 week, both linked to cartels. But experts say this timing isn't a coincidence. It's actually a sign of what's moving through Colorado right now. 9 News reporter Ria Jha found out what the broader trend is revealing.
When you show up twice in 1 week to stand next to a table full of drugs, you're bound to raise some questions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Oleski. I'm the special agent in charge.
But this DEA official had some big news.
Here laid out before you is the Colorado state record for a single seizure of fentanyl. Investigators seized a Colorado state record of 733 pounds of methamphetamine during an enforcement operation.
2 drug bust state records in 1 week. The question is, why are there so many drugs in Colorado?
We're vulnerable because of geography.
Keith Weiss is the director of an agency conducting drug investigations across the region called Rocky Mountain HIDTA. So he has an idea of why traffickers like to come through Colorado.
These are freeways that can be accessed all the way down. A portion of these drugs were going to be used here in our region or distributed, but there's a good chance that they were going to move onward to other markets across the country.
He says the quantities his agency is seeing landing here now aren't typical for the area.
Yeah, these traffickers generally don't like to move this kind of volume at one time or keep this much in one space.
Last year, more than 30% of HIDTA investigations involved cartel-linked groups. And this year?
The activity that we've seen in the investigations that we're looking at are definitely increasing this year and will exceed last year.
But Keith says that doesn't mean there are more cartels in Colorado.
All of our task forces are hyper-focused on these types of investigations like never before.
With an extra focus on cartel investigations this year, law enforcement is hoping to create momentum.
I think the will is there by public safety and law enforcement to help slow down this freight train. It's wrecking our communities.
That was Ria Jha reporting. Investigators expect more busts before the year's over as task forces keep focusing on cartel activity in Colorado. Fort Collins police looking for the person responsible for shooting cars with a BB or a pellet gun. Police say they've gotten 8 reports from people who say their car got hit while driving on Shields between Mountain and Mulberry Avenue. Usually it was during the weekend morning hours. We spoke to one woman who says she and her boyfriend were both targeted, once in September and once again last week.
We just heard like a really, really loud like snap, like a rock hit our windshield. And if the shot was a couple feet higher, would have hit the window and probably shattered it. My boyfriend was on his way to work, and same thing, he was on the phone with his mom, and his mom actually heard it through the telephone.
Fort Collins is asking the public for tips that could help solve the case. A group of women who run at Wash Park reached out to us for help after noticing something really disturbing. They say a man has been exposing himself to female runners early in the morning while it's still dark out. Denver police says that they've received several reports of this man stemming back to late September. Police say this seems to be happening at around 5 o'clock in the morning. Now they're doing extra patrols in that area. Several runners tell us that the man is only doing it in the unlit sections of the park. Sarah Anderson says she was running by herself at around 5 a.m. earlier this week when she saw someone coming out of the shadows.
A man walked towards me across the road and was exposed himself to me. It was pretty scary. He came pretty close to me, and I took off running.
Anderson believes if all of the lights were working, it would give the man less of an opportunity to prey on runners. Xcel Energy says that they've repaired 8 lights and also repaired underground faults that caused several other lights to not function. Xcel says runners should report the lights on their website in the outage or repair section. Denver's going to have a weird trash situation next week because of the Thanksgiving holiday and a furlough day for city workers. People who don't know probably going to have their trash sit out for a full week. So this is only happening in Denver. Usually holidays push trash pickup back a day. Well, next week it moves up a day. So if your trash collection happens on Monday or Tuesday, have your trash out by Monday morning. If your trash day is Wednesday, have it out Tuesday morning. You get the picture. If Thursday is your trash day, that needs to be out Wednesday morning.
I had no idea. I mean, like I said, I have a 4- and 6-year-old, so staying current on trash schedules isn't in my forte. We would have absolutely put the trash out on Friday and then wondered, and I guarantee you our whole block would have too.
The city of Denver also plans to skip recycling and compost pickup completely next week. People in Fort Collins can expect to pay a little bit more for utilities next year. City Council just approved rate hikes for 2026. Electricity, water, wastewater, and stormwater rates are all going up, anywhere from 6 to 9%. For a typical household, that's about $13.50 more a month. The city says the increases are needed to cover rising wholesale power costs, water projects, and upgrades to water systems. A viral video of a public health inspector in Denver continues to make its rounds on the internet, even making it to TMZ. Well, it shows the inspector pouring bleach into an unlicensed street vendor's food. The incident shows the difficulty of enforcing food safety rules on moving targets. The city of Denver says that there are 770 mobile vendors with a license. However, there are plenty more operating without a license. The health department says it relies on tips and complaints from the public. The city insists it's not about shutting down small businesses, but really just keeping a level playing field for businesses that do follow food safety rules meant to protect the public.
We ultimately just want to make sure that it's safe and that your customers, want to come back because they don't get sick. A lot of the times if we encounter unlicensed vendors, they do want to go through the proper channels. They just aren't, weren't aware of what they were.
The city of Denver offers vendor outreach in English and Spanish and said that someone's immigration status has no impact on their ability to get a business license. Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene will be stepping down from the House of Representatives in just a few weeks. This all comes after a public feud with President Donald Trump. Once a leading supporter of the sitting president, she backed a bill to release files connected to Jeffrey Epstein. She also suggested that Republicans will lose the 2026 midterm elections and that Trump will be impeached if Democrats regain control of the House. Her last day in office is scheduled for January 5th.